Scott.
All right, I'm here from Patriot High School. Boys that brought here, Aiden Pagonis, Mathieu Lamah, Fowler, Jamir Brown, Josh Villaflor, Owen Lawson, Jorden Benjamin, and Braylon Addy. I brought a good bit of our seniors this year because they were a huge part of what we did last season. We had some great seniors. Well, now seniors. We had a real great junior class last year that really helped us find a way to get to the regional championship last year. Beating Gainesville and Battlefield in the playoffs last year was big for us, trying to get over that hump. Beat Battlefield last season. We have a lot of confidence coming back this year because they have such a great senior class. Really excited about this season. It was a really good first week of camp. We made some changes, especially up front, that gave us some depth that we really needed. We have a fun QB competition this year. I told people that it's, I've been going into year 14 as a head football coach. I've never been a part of anything with 3 QBs that have a shot of starting. So it's a fun atmosphere. It's a lot of competition. The kids know it. The kids are bringing it every day. I'm really excited about what we're going to see this season.
All right. Now we'll open up the question from the press.
Coach, how you doing? I feel like I've been covering you for years, and you have a really great program. You guys, again, I've said this to you before, I feel like every year you guys have gotten close. You knocked on that door. You had that matchup one year, a few years ago, with Freedom and Woodbridge, where you were there. It was a back and forth game in the first half, and then they kind of pulled away. Last year, you guys made a great run. You beat Battlefield and Gainesville in the playoffs. A lot of people counted you out because you lost a few starters. And then you had that tough loss to Colonial Forge in the playoffs. And you guys were at home. I thought maybe some things were differently. Y'all could have maybe made a run to states. As a coach, and you've been doing this a long time, 14 years, you got another talented group this year. By the way, Dwight Vick with Victory Life. I should have introduced myself. But what have you learned? Because every year there's a life lesson with coaching. When you look in the mirror, you look at your staff, you look at what you got coming back, and you say, okay, I learned this from the previous season, or in 2019 we did this, so we could do this better. What have you learned that you're going to take into this season to make sure you can eventually get over that hump and win the chip?
Last year, we did think last year was going to be that year that we could win the whole thing and go into the playoffs down 8 starters. It was a different story. It would have been real easy to kind of just throw in the towel and say, hey, it was a nice run. Things went against us. It is what it is. But these boys were able to persevere. I mean, obstacle after obstacle, they stepped up, and they really just believed it could happen, to the point where literally, all have bands that say Patriot Perseverance this year, because I believe we are different in that way. We believe that no matter what, we would always have a shot. We believe that we could persevere and we could get the job done. There's never a game that we go in that we think we can't win, no matter what we're facing. And I believe these teams are built a little different that way, because they do go into practice the same way, with that motto, with that momentum of believing that we really can do anything as long as we just keep believing, keep working. So that Patriot Perseverance is a big thing this year. We knew we had a shot last year at winning the whole thing, and that's just going to keep driving us, because we knew we most likely might have been the best team in the state of Virginia last year. And now we have another shot, another year, to see if we can make that happen.
Jack, this question is for you. You play tight end, DN, correct? Yes. All right, so there's a big hype this year around Travis Hunter and these two-way players. What is it going to take for you this year to be that guy who makes plays on both sides of the ball?
You just got to stay conditioned. You got to, listen to what advice the coaches are giving you. You got to listen to, what technical tips, the coaches are giving you. You got to watch a lot of film. Film is always a game changer. You got to be really just a student of the game. Perfect, every motion, every aspect of your game, and just apply that on Fridays.
Sean, Nikki Wilcott, Washington Post. Just kind of wondering, obviously you've been doing this for a long time. It's kind of hard to find things that might be unique or stand out about each different group each year, but is there anything that really, that you've seen throughout this offseason, coming off of last year where these guys showed so much fight to get to a region final, that stands out to you as unique about this group? Obviously, just bring back so much talent after making a run like that.
Man, they get along really well. You know, there's no cliques in this group. They all hang out together. You know, they all do different things. I mean, the amount of times that, like, they've been somewhere and, like, Matt will send me a picture of just catching a fish, you know, going fishing with a different groups. Hey, it is what it is, man. You like fishing, it's okay. And it's just, this group really gets along really well. They're able, which helps them stay on top of each other. You know, when someone's not doing the right thing, all right, they've learned to say, hey, like, I can step up because we do have that brotherhood, and they're not going to look at me at a different way because I did something wrong. All right, so I'm going to keep being a leader no matter what that looks like because they all accept that, they respect each other for that way. So they get along extremely well. It's a huge step in having that team culture. So that's probably the biggest thing with this group is they have a great culture.
And if one of the two of the seniors want to answer this, just what do you think plays a role in kind of developing that culture, and what has it been like, especially this offseason and now having the experience of playing with each other over the last year or two, just stepping up into more of a leadership role and kind of making that, kind of setting that example for some of the younger kids who are going to play a role this year?
I feel like that role is just divided on being able to step up and take command of the team and knowing what the expectation he has set for us and trying to bring everybody together each and every single day to help us win games, because last year we were so close together where we all knew what it took. We all knew what the expectations were to keep fighting and keep fighting.
This question is for Mathieu. You and I always talk when we see each other out in at basketball games or out, you know, the promenade. I'm a big fan of yours. Penn State, right?
Yeah.
Where you're going. I really thought my school had a chance being a Hokie. I mean, I didn't know if I maybe should have done some Victory Life NIL deal or whatever. But on a serious note, you are known in the district and in the region as a very fierce competitor and a big-time hitter. Where does that come from? Because a lot of guys will say, oh, you know, I just try to play the best and play hard, but it seems like you always arrive to the football with bad intentions. Where's that stem from? Because you're very physical.
Basically from Little League, always trying to find my way to the ball each and every single day. I really couldn't give you an answer. I just know see ball, go get ball. That's a really honest answer I got.
And not to start any controversy, I mean, fierce rivals, but correct me if I'm wrong, you were the one that put the hit on the battlefield quarterback, right?
Yeah.
And yeah. Look, you said that with confidence. Okay. Yeah, I just remember that was a big time hit. Yeah. Coach, you want to add something? You look.
No. He tore that knee before the hit. Matt just finished him.
Okay.
He tried to not go out of bounds.
Yeah.
Should have went out of bounds.
Carl Frederick here with Prep Red Zone and All Hitches. My question is for Jorden. Your recruiting really blew up at the end of your junior season, and you committed to Towson, I believe, a month ago. I'm just questioning about that. Like, what went into that decision, and is your recruitment still open? Because you had a lot of interest, and it sounds like you may have more.
Yeah, I just feel like with Towson, I really enjoyed the culture there. Every time I'd go down there to visit, I enjoyed speaking with the O-line coach. I felt like he really wanted to work with me, and that was a big thing because a lot of schools, even when they would offer, were kind of skeptical about the height. So going somewhere where the coach was like riding so hard for me and like wanted to see me succeed was a big driving factor. I feel like that's kind of the best place I could see myself succeeding when I was going to spring practices and going on junior days and camps over the summer. It just felt like I consistently saw myself there and I could picture myself in the future there and possibly like
win against you all. What team from a couple of y'all are you definitely looking forward to getting at this season?
Playing Gainesville.
Battlefield. Clean Forge.
All 3 teams, they said.
Yeah, mainly Forge. We haven't beat them this whole time, so Forge is the one I'm looking forward to.
I'm excited for Gainesville.
That's at Gainesville.
Forge.
Coach?
I mean, I'm not sure I can really add much to that. This year, like, our goal is to win the county. So, obviously, Battlefield Gainesville in the county, those are games that we have to have. Colonial Forge won the region last year. They'll be the favorite to win the region this year. So, obviously, that'll be big. We play them in the regular season. So those are 3 games that we will play that are big for us and very important for us to get that W.
I just want to say, Vic asked the question of the previous team, Oakton. Coach seems like a really good guy, but he also looks like he has another side to him. Can you all kind of speak to how Coach sometimes can get at you all during the season, and you see that good side and that bad side? Who wants to talk about it a little bit?
Hey, he's intense, but he pushes us hard. So I mean, you can't ask for much more. I think that's the key to a lot of our success as a team.
Yeah. I do want to ask, does Coach ever get out there and kind of hit and get?
Yeah. A little bit.
I can see it. Yeah.
Coach, again, because of my relationship with you and Sherman Rivers and Patriot, my son being there for 4 years, I'm very familiar with your program. Your program, you've had a lot of explosive talent, especially on the offensive side, and you had some really good quarterbacks, Tyler, Sam Fernandez. You guys really do a great job with the RPOs. And when you have a running game and a good quarterback, you guys are really explosive offensively. You mentioned, and I caught this because I'm paying close attention to this, you guys are having a very big-time quarterback battle. You got a freshman I'm very familiar with in high on Anthony Rivers, who I think is very special, but you also have the young man from Kettle Run. You have a big-time quarterback battle, and I know you're not going to make a decision or lean to anything right now, but how do you manage that? A lot of times the fans see it and they say, okay, who plays the best in this scrimmage? Like last night with Shador, right? But that's one game. How do you evaluate that and make the best decision for the team? Because it's not who's the favorite, but who's going to give you the best chance to win. But as a coach, how do you handle that?
Obviously it's good and bad, because when you have 3 guys that are so close to starting, that means you have 2 guys that will not start, that arguably could start. I want to win, all right? So everything that we're doing is evaluating that. All 3 are getting equal reps at practice. Like, they're all getting their shot. We are filming everything. I believe we had, if you put the wide and tight camera view, I think we had almost 400 clips of one practice. Like, we are watching everything so we can evaluate everything. So all I can say is when we do figure out who's that starter, there will be, it'll be hands down that we all feel that's the guy because there's so much film to evaluate. Like you've mentioned those 2, like Josiah James Hampton is the 3rd guy that's involved in that, the senior. Played quarterback his early years, went to receiver last year, and then we brought back the quarterback. So like he knows the system. He's a little bit more agile than the other 2. So they all bring a certain aspect. So it's easy to say, hey, the best will play. But that really is what it is because, we want to win games. Whoever gives us the best opportunities to win games will get to play. I also feel that all 3 will see snaps on a Friday night this season. They'll all see snaps, maybe a package here or there, even if they're not the starter, because they all do different things. At the same point, you have a freshman and sophomore, so they're only going to keep getting better, and you get to work with them, so you want to make sure they have their opportunities. A great part of it, and I'm not going to keep any secrets here, everybody's going to see scrimmages, and everybody shares film. The QB run is back in our game, which we have not had. Not that Tyler couldn't. Everyone thought Tyler couldn't run. It was just we were very protective of Tyler. So we didn't do much running with him because he was such a huge part of what we did. We now have 3 quarterbacks who are all part of a run game now. So that's going to put defenses a whole different element. You know, so people say, how do you replace all the guys we lost last year? You know, top receiver in the district, top running back in the district, arguably top quarterback in the district, all gone. Well, it's by putting the defenses in different positions that we haven't been able to do. And we can run them all because now we have 3 quarterbacks that we all feel confident in. You know, and it's funny, just a little ad, I'm a Browns fan. I'm homegrown, Akron, Ohio, you know. So they have 4 quarterbacks going for it, we have 3. It's kind of funny how it works that way. And I just hope everybody, like, you know, the best will play. Shedeur Sanders needs to play.
Well, one more question from me about that. You know, you mentioned the running backs. That's another thing you guys have historically been known for. Jackson and Carter, KJ. You guys have, I mean, at one time.
Tim Baldwin before that.
Yeah, you guys have always had great running backs that are explosive and make plays. When you look at the running back position you have this year, how's that going and how's the depth at that position?
You know, it was going into the year, is one of those situations where we weren't sure how much depth we were going to have there. Jamir right now is RB1, and we were confident in what Jamir is going to be able to do. I do make sure that our protein shakes heavily on standby for him to keep getting bigger. We're excited about Jamir, what he's bringing to the table. Jamir also is going to play defense for us, so we need other people in that running back room. Davion Grant has stepped up, and we're really excited to see what he can do running the ball. Corner Luis Kenbang is getting carries at the running back position, and we have a freshman that we really like as well. Arguably might be the fastest kid on the team that we're working in as a 4th guy getting carries. So once again, it's that healthy competition, 4 guys getting carries during a team practice, so we're building that depth, and I'm excited. Yes, you're not going to see one of them getting 22, 24 carries in a game, all right, but you're going to see 10 to 12, 10 to 12, you know, 6 to 8, keeping people fresh so we can play both sides of the ball, and they all do things a little different running the ball. All right, you know, Jamir is that one cut and he's gone. Davion is that bruiser, all right, and then you got a speedster in Calvin. So we're really excited about that running room. It'll be a little different than what we've had in the few years, just because you don't have that one, kind of similar to what we did with Quentin, who went to Slippery Rock, and Jackson when he was a sophomore. So it'll be more similar to that 1-2 punch than it was last year.
You talked about just having some competition at quarterback, running back, or just being a little bit more by committee than last year. How does just having some stability elsewhere, a lot of these guys have experience playing a variety of positions, or even guys fighting for those roles at least have experience in the offense. Just how important is that you bring a lot of guys back to have that stability elsewhere while you're still trying to figure things out or just kind of evaluate those guys?
No, it's big because, you know, last season we really loved our starting groups. We thought our starting 11 on both sides of the ball was as good as anybody in the state. And then we got tested going down 8 starters, and then suddenly other people started stepping up, and we're like, okay, now we have this depth. So all these guys coming back, you know, have been a part of that. And it's been a while since we've had so much depth at receiver, where we have 6 to 7 guys that we can rotate through there at receiver. We haven't had that. You know, last season, you know, Braylon was injured most of this last season, so no one really got a chance to see what he can do. So we're super excited about him. But there were situations where Aiden here, when we were in the playoffs, never left the field, like offense, defense, special teams, because we didn't have anybody else. All right, so having him back, Trevor Keener, who tore his ACL in the Garfield game, week 9, he'll be back here. He'll be back here. Hopefully, week 1 or week 2, he's going to get a chance to be back. So we're able to build that depth, and now we're going to this situation where we feel really good about it. Where years past, we loved our 11, but the depth after that wasn't where we wanted it.
All right, I think we got time for one more question if anybody has it.
Talk to Coach all day. That's my guy. O-line, D-line. I ask you this every year. We do these. Again, you had some guys. My guy, I forgot his name. Good lineman, went to UVA.
Paul Sribar.
Thank you. And then Alex Q's son. You had that one line that when you had Gabe and Sam, y'all were very good up front and on offense and defense. The offense and defensive line, to me, and you know this, coaching and playing, is essential when you want to win a district and a regional championship and play for a state. How cohesive is the unit so far? I know it's early, but how cohesive are they on both sides of the ball, and how are they performing, and what's the expectation?
You know, that was the one position that we were not sure about our depth. You know, we have a lot of kids, but there's so many young linemen we have on the team this year. So we were not sure about our depth up front. So receiver, we're all like, oh, look at all this competition. Then we look up front where we've been strong in the past, and we're saying, well, we need a couple people to step up. We got a great, strong three that we're building off of. All right, obviously Jorden, all right, who's going to get to play a lot more defense this year. You know, last year he had a shoulder injury, and we had to kind of, you know, he played offense with a really bad shoulder, and he was able to do that, but we couldn't put him on both sides of the ball. Owen, all-district center last year, is going to move over and play guard probably for us, but he could also play center. He could play tackle. So those are two huge parts of our offensive line. Chris Umana, who was a starter for us as a freshman on defense. He was an all-district player on defense for us last year. He's going to move over and play offense as well this year. So those three are a really great group to build off of. And now we're having other people step up in certain spots, and Ian Song stepping up, hopefully taking a center spot. We have some young kids that have never played offensive line before who suddenly are enjoying pushing people around at that tackle spot. And it's given us some depth that we didn't think we were going to have. Kaylin Ortiz and our interior offensive line. So now we get to a point where I really like our starting five on the offensive side, and now we have depth behind it. We moved Jack from linebacker to D-end, which has really shored that up. I think we're going to have arguably one of the best D-lines around. All right, between Jorden and Chris Umana up front, both all-district, all-region players, all right, with an Owen and other guys rotating in to keep them fresh, and then Jack moving to defensive end. I really like what we have. So it was I'm not going to say I was alarmed, all right, but that was that one spot that, you know, that was that one position that we had circled that we got to figure this out. And after the first week of camp, I feel much better about it than I did before.
All right, coaches, players, before we let you all go, if you could just tell us about your experience here. How has it been? Have you enjoyed anything? How's it? Tell me.
It's been great. A lot of great hospitality for us.
I like the donuts.
It's been great. It's beautiful little studio, and yeah, nice area.
Same as them. The hospitality has been great.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed. I felt very welcomed. You know, it's been a great experience with the photo shoots and all the little games and stuff. You know, I've really enjoyed my time.
I'm really appreciative. Anything that gives these kids exposure, like a huge fan of. So, you know, it's not like you guys are here getting paid lots of money to do this. So you guys are volunteering your time to help them. It's amazing, and I couldn't be more appreciative of all the things that you guys have done to give these kids exposure, because they deserve it. And I'm sorry, Jorden, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was going to say I enjoy taking pictures. I really enjoy taking pictures.
All right, players, coaches, Patriot High School, thank you very much for coming out.
Thank you, man.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.